This is Luke with the Gamer, and I'm going to talk about the new PvP mode Crystalline Conflict in Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV's latest patch brings with it a new way to fight other players in Crystalline Conflict, a fast-paced PvP mode that pits two teams of 5 against each other in a race to move a crystal to the goal. Crystalline Conflict is a mode that's easy for new players to PvP in Final Fantasy XIV to pick up and learn, forming the foundation of an overhaul for the game's PvP in general. Playing Crystalline Conflict also offers a variety of exciting rewards, from wolf marks that can be exchanged for unique PvP gear, in addition to tombstones and EXP for the new PvP series system, a battle pass style mechanic that allows players to level up in a set series of PvP progression. If you've already unlocked PvP in Final Fantasy XIV, then you don't need to take any extra steps to unlock Crystalline Conflict. However, for those of you that haven't unlocked PvP, then you'll need to do that first by completing your Grand Company's variant of the quest of Pup No Longer. You'll also need to be level 30 in any Disciple of War or Magic to take on this quest. The quest can be found by talking to one of 3 NPCs depending on which Grand Company you're a part of, and those 3 NPCs are shown on screen currently. Once you complete this quest, you'll gain access to a special PvP zone known as the Wolves' Den Pier, in addition to the ability to play the Crystalline Conflict PvP mode. To start playing Crystalline Conflict, you'll need to select it from the Duty Finder. Casual matches will not count against your official progress as seen in your PvP profile, whereas ranked matches will count towards your rank. Once you've registered for the duty, you'll soon be matched into a team. You'll either be placed on Team Umbra or Team Astra, and each team has 5 players. The objective of Crystalline Conflict is simple. Move the tactical crystal from the centre of the map to a goal point at the other end of the map to achieve victory, but be aware that the opposing team is attempting to do the same thing, and the teams will frequently come into conflict over the crystal's movement. Crystalline Conflict matches last for a maximum of 5 minutes, and if no winner is found during that time, it will go into overtime. At the beginning of a match, you'll have a short period where each team is locked in their opposite corners of the map, and after a short countdown you'll be freed, and you should start running to the crystal in the centre of the map as soon as possible. For a short period at the beginning of the match, the tactical crystal you need to move will be locked in place. It will eventually become unshackled, allowing the team that stands in the ring marker, whilst uncontested, to move it forward along a designated path. If players of the enemy team are in the ring at the same time, the crystal will not move. If you're moving the crystal after the other team has already made more progress than your team, the crystal will move faster. If the crystal reaches a point it has already reached before, it will also move faster. The speed increases are small but noticeable. Throughout the map, the crystal will reach various checkpoints where it will briefly pause. The team moving the crystal must then stay in the area and defend it whilst waiting for it to continue to move along the track. If the game goes past 5 minutes into overtime, the conditions for a win will change slightly. If your team has made more progress moving the crystal towards the goal, you'll simply need to kill the other players within the crystal's ring to win. On the other hand, if you have less progress than the other team, you'll simply need to overtake them to win. Lastly, if both teams are at the same level of progress or the crystal hasn't moved, one team will merely need to gain more progress to win. Despite being a pretty simple game, there are a few strategies to consider when playing Crystalline Conflict. The best approach to Crystalline Conflict generally is to stay close to your team and form a cohesive unit. The more you separate from your team, the harder the process of moving the crystal will be, as the enemy team can easily gang up on players who are on their own. If everyone on your team is dead, that's valuable time where the crystal can't be stalled or moved. There are also jump glyphs and sprint zones on each map that you can use quickly to move to specific parts of the map. Seek these out when you first play maps just to get a better idea of how to move quickly through them. The weapon skills and abilities you use in PvP are slightly different from standard play. Although most of them are principally the same, some abilities will not be usable in PvP, and others will have altered potencies or effects. Make sure to read the PvP versions of your tooltips in the Actions and Traits menu or PvP profile before you begin playing. Players will move erratically and quickly to avoid attacks, so get used to the basics of targeting and become familiar with the distance required for each of your attacks. This way you'll know when it's safe to engage. Mistiming your button presses may result in being caught by somebody else. Health potions will sometimes appear in the margins of the map. Run into them to gain a lot of HP. Each map tends to have a hazard associated with it as well, so expect turbulence and volcanic eruptions to interrupt your match. And lastly, try and draw enemies out of the ring by engaging them with ranged attacks or using abilities that will lock them in place outside of the ring, giving your teammates a chance to step into the ring and start moving the crystal. So that's a guide to the new Crystalline Conflict mode in Final Fantasy XIV. I hope this guide helps out, and please check out thegamer.com for more.